Hello, 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 and welcome to the High Altitude Investing live stream. Another live stream today. Normally we do this on Saturday, but hey, it's a Friday and the markets are exciting. So I figured time to do it today. Might as well not wait around for doing a live stream when there's exciting stuff going on in crypto. So welcome everybody to today's live stream. Thank you for taking a minute to tune in. And we'll get started here on some crypto analysis, baby. Let's pull up Bitcoin. We'll actually pull up Bitcoin on a different exchange. There we go. That way you guys can't see my secrets. Operation Shutdown. What's up, my friend? Thank you for taking some time to tune in today on another live stream. Healthy TV. Healthy TV? Healthy with an I. That's cool. Welcome to the live stream. Good to see you tuning in. All right, cool. So, Bitcoin, everybody's favorite coin. You know, everybody loves Bitcoin. It's been around for forever, and it's got a lot of big community behind it, a lot of people that really like this thing. So let's talk about where this thing could go and what I think Bitcoin is doing currently, and basically how to stay level-headed. Because one of the worst things you can do in a time like this is lose your cool. One of the best things that you could possibly do is stay level-headed and not let your emotions control you. And in the case of Bitcoin, that's exactly what we're going to do, is stay level-headed. A lot of people are going to be freaking out and scared and wondering why the sky is falling and all their investments are down. But don't do that. You got to stay faithful and stay true to the market. Because in the big picture, nothing has changed. There's nothing different about this market than there was before the crash, before we came from 108,000 down to 80K. Now, I was calling for 80K, but I will admit I switched bullish again right before it crashed, so I didn't play it as perfectly as I could have. It just happens. You know, nobody's perfect at trading. Nobody's going to play the market perfectly. And when it really comes down to actually taking the trades, it's easier said than done. You can have a strong feeling and a strong intuition that Bitcoin was going to go to 80K. And then when it looks like it's breaking out again, you can feel like, oh no, I'm going to miss out on all these gains and not sell or buy back in like I did. And, you know, whatever, it's okay. It happens. You just keep holding on. Don't panic sell. If you make a mistake, definitely do not panic sell when a crash comes. That's the worst thing you could possibly do. But yeah, I was calling for 80K Bitcoin, like right here, when we first got this red candle. But then we broke out again and pulled back a little bit, and I thought, oh, this thing is breaking out. And it tricked me. It was an expanded flat correction, and it tricked me. Even though I've seen like these things before and I know to kind of watch out for them, it still tricked me this time. And that's okay. It's part of the market. It's part of playing these markets. So let's look at the previous expanded flat on Bitcoin. Over here, if you look at this expanded flat right here, you can see Bitcoin came down and then looked like it was going to break out again, looked like it was headed for a new all-time high, and then came all the way back down. So that's an expanded flat correction. An expanded flat correction looks like this. Okay? That B wave ends up going higher than the top of waves of the fifth wave right here. So this would be the fifth wave for Bitcoin right here. And you can see that we came down for wave A, then the B wave actually goes up higher than the fifth wave. And that tricks people It's easy to get tricked when that B wave happens. When it looks like it's breaking out again and going for a new all-time high, and looks like the market is getting ready to go higher, it's easy to get too excited and want to be bullish at that point in the market. But if you stay level-headed, you can hopefully plan for a potential correction. Now, in the case of the recent expanded flat, basically we have the same thing. So let's count our Elliott waves here. Wave 1, wave 2, wave 3, wave 4, and wave 5. And look what happens here. Wave A, and then wave B looks like it's going to break out, right? We go for a new all-time high. Looks like it's going to break out. And then we go for our wave C. So that's an expanded flat correction. So that can get you. That can be kind of tricky. And a lot of people are going to get thrown around when that happens. Even the best traders, even people that have been doing this for 30 years are going to get thrown around. And to be honest with you guys, most people were bullish up here, including myself in this case. Unlike the summer correction that happened last year, where I was bearish right here before the crash, in this case on Bitcoin, I was bullish this time. So it did trick me too. But a lot of people were bullish up here, even professional traders. And it's just the nature of the market. These expanded flats are tricky. If you know about them, you can hopefully be mindful of them, but occasionally you still might get tricked by the market. So that's what happened here with this expanded flat. But whenever an ABC correction happens in the market, wherever you get an ABC correction, whether it's an expanded flat correction or a regular zigzag correction. So this is what a regular zigzag looks like, and this is what an expanded flat looks like right here. So this is zigzag, zigzag, and expanded flat. So, oops, put my P before my X. There we go. So, whenever a correction happens in the market, at the bottom of wave C, a lot of people are going to be bearish. And a lot of people are going to be telling you the market's going to go lower, that we're going to see massively low numbers, and that price is going to fall off a cliff. And don't listen to those people because they don't know what they're talking about. The bottom of wave C is the point of maximum financial opportunity. And even if it's an expanded flat where wave B goes up above like this, before it comes down for wave C is still the point of maximum financial opportunity to buy into the market. So my advice for you guys today, or at least the tip, because technically I can't give financial advice, right? According to ridiculous laws. But what I would say to you guys today, a lot of people are going to be bearish. The sentiment is going to be very, very bearish. And just be careful not to get too bearish down here. Be greedy when other people are fearful. Because right now, the fact of the matter is, most people are in a state of paralysis and fear. And if you can step aside from those emotions and just focus on what the charts are telling you, we are in the bottom of wave C for an expanded flat correction. And I'm not trying to call an exact bottom here. I'm not saying it can't go a little lower. It could. It could go for another low. But the worst thing you could do is sell into that wave C. Because I'll tell you what the big whales and the big players are doing. The big whales and the big players are averaging into the market. They're buying right now. They know that just like how people were too excited right here, they're too fearful down here. They're being irrational. And they'll try to justify it too. They'll be like, oh, well, what about, what about this or that? They'll try to justify their bearishness down here, just like how people always have a bunch of fundamental reasons to justify their bullishness at the top when it's time to correct, time to come back down in the market. Cool, let's check out. We got more and more people tuning in. Core, what's up? Good to see you. Rico Hawk. Hey, Dallin, Theta Fuel, please. Yeah, let's do some T-Fuel. So that's my view on Bitcoin. Essentially, expanded flat correction. Worst thing you could do is sell when other people are scared. Best thing you can do is buy and hold on. In the big picture, nothing has changed. Bitcoin is still almost exactly like investing in early internet companies or computer companies like Apple Computers, for example. So we're just going to pull up Apple over here on the right, and we'll keep Bitcoin over here on the left. And if we pull up Apple Computers and take a look at what it looked like when Apple Computers was early on in its cycle, before it really took off and expanded. Here's Apple Computers on the right, and here is Bitcoin on the left, okay? This early phase for Apple Computers, there was billions of dollars of institutional volume here, where the big players were accumulating, buying as much as they possibly could, because they knew that this trend for Apple Computers was a monster that had not really taken off yet. That's what the big institutions knew. That's what Apple Computers was. And you can see billions and billions of dollars in trading volume on Apple Computers in the early cycle. Now, if we look at Bitcoin right now, Bitcoin is a spitting image of early day Apple Computers. Even this crash in 2008 lines up perfectly with the FTX crash in 2022. It's like the same psychology, the same fractal of human emotions. Even this panic right here, where Apple Computers broke out to a new all-time high and then panicked and everybody freaked out. You can see that candle took us all the way back down to $7 after it hit $9. Even that panic is the same panic we're seeing right now on Bitcoin. Like everything about these two charts is virtually identical. Here was the internet bubble for Apple Computers, because Apple, being a computer company, obviously went nuts during the internet bubble in the early 2000s and late 90s. And if you look right here, here's the first crypto bubble on Bitcoin. Well, the first big one, where it had substantial volume going up to 20K. So what I'm trying to tell you guys, in the big picture, nothing has changed, all right, for Bitcoin. So that's my Bitcoin analysis. Stay true to the big picture. You can see billions of dollars of accumulation volume here on Bitcoin. There's a good reason for that. It's because institutions know Bitcoin is a monstrous trend that is still early. It still hasn't been fully mass adopted by the public. They have set up the infrastructure for mass adoption. They've put billions of dollars into this industry, and they are planning for it to do what Apple Computers did, essentially, right? They might not be looking at Apple Computers and going, oh, look, it's going to do that. Some of them might be. Some trading desks might be looking at this exact fractal. But what they are doing is they look at Bitcoin as a very similar event in the history of humanity as the internet. Blockchain technology, cryptocurrency, is changing the world just like how the internet did. And big institutions know this. Cool. So that's my view on Bitcoin. Let's go to T-Fuel as requested by my friend in the chat. Big picture, you guys, Bitcoin is golden. Short term, we could bottom out soon. The fear is high. People are scared. Stay level-headed, okay? Don't let people's fear or FUD or news articles take your money. Don't let the whales take your profits, okay? And the only way they can do that is if you panic sell where they're buying. That's the only way they can get you. So, let's see here. Theta fuel, T fuel. So T fuel is a perfect example of a full market cycle where you really pump up here really high. So you start off with disbelief phase where people don't think the market is going to do anything. And then you go into the euphoria phase right here. And then that's peak euphoria of the cycle. And then you top out and you come down to the depression phase of the market cycle. And now we're in disbelief again. So let's pull up the market cycle chart here and I'll show you exactly what I'm talking about here with T-Fuel. It's a perfect example of a market cycle and the human psychology inside of a market cycle. Let's see, market cycle, Wall Street cheat sheet. For some reason, there we go. It's not pulling it up when I type in market cycle. There we go. So here's the Wall Street cheat sheet. Now this is found everywhere. It doesn't matter if you're looking at, like I've talked about this over and over again, it doesn't matter if you're looking at silver or gold or the internet bubble or crypto market cycles or penny stocks, or you get the point. It doesn't matter what you're looking at. Markets are fractal in nature, and they repeat those fractals over and over again. And you can see here that T-Fuel did a perfect market cycle. So we have disbelief down here, where people are in disbelief. You come up into the euphoria phase up here, like I said. Then you come down to the depression phase of the cycle. That coincides with this right here. And then you go into the disbelief phase, or the suckers rally. So it looks like it's starting to break out, but everybody's in disbelief. And they're like, oh, only suckers are buying crypto. Only suckers. You know, they call it a suckers rally. But really the big whales are buying in the depression phase and the disbelief phase. Because if you zoom into the Wall Street cheat sheet, you'll see that the point of maximum financial opportunity is that point of maximum contraction, where the cycle has fully contracted, or retraced is another word that we use for it. It's fully retraced from its peak all the way down to the bottom. That's the point of maximum financial opportunity. When other people are skeptical, when other people don't believe that it's going to turn around. That's the point of maximum financial opportunity, when it's fully contracted all the way back down to those lowest support levels. Now, let me show you what it looks like when it recovers. What's up, everybody? Iron Mike, good to see you. Mike Collins, my mom, who knows nothing about crypto, is telling me Bitcoin is down and I should be careful. Yeah, that's a really good sign, Mike. If people are telling you got to be careful about crypto and to get out of the markets, you should probably double down on your positions. Papa Panda, appreciate the analysis, dude. Yeah, thank you for tuning in, my friend. Les, oh my gosh, I finally got you live. Good day, everyone from Australia. Yeah, thank you, Les. Good to see you tuning in. Awesome. Let's see. Okay, cool. So we're going to compare this to Amazon.com. Again, if you want to learn about crypto cycles, go study what happened to the internet and all of the companies associated with the internet. And you'll find a lot of really, really good examples of the psychology taking place in crypto right now, of people getting too excited, getting too fearful, and then being skeptical as to whether something can recover or not. So here's Amazon.com on the right. Here's T-Fuel over here on the left. Now, I'm not saying that T-Fuel is going to have the same market cap as Amazon.com, or that it's going to change the world in the same way that Amazon.com did. It could, but what I am teaching you is the psychology of markets, the human psychology of markets. Because right now, T-Fuel is really just as good of an investment as buying Amazon right here in terms of market psychology, in terms of it being the point of maximum financial opportunity. So, with that being said, a lot of people are going to be fearful because we're in that maximum contraction phase of the cycle. There's going to be a lot of people that are saying, hey, this is bearish. This can't recover. That you shouldn't buy this. There's no way it's going to go up. That's going to be the general consensus among most average everyday people with crypto. But let me tell you something about crypto and every other market in the world. If you study the way markets work, most of the time, markets go down and then sideways for a really long time, like this, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, it starts a massive bull market, and it pumps really quickly. But during this phase right here, where people are scared of what's going to happen, the market squeezes most people out of the market. Because the markets are a device for transferring money from the impatient to the patient. That's really what they do. They're a vehicle of squeezing out people that want to get rich too easily or too quickly or without discipline and patience. So if you want to be a good trader, you want to cultivate discipline and patience. And in order to do that, you have to recognize that something can look completely dead and really take a long time to pump. This has been going sideways for like 2 years and hasn't seen a pump like it did in 2021, But once it takes off, it's like a dam breaking. You can't stop it. There's no stopping it once it takes off. And what can happen is really profound, really neat to see, especially if you've got money in the markets. It's really neat to see, right? It's a lot of fun. And you can see T-Fuel over here on the left and Amazon over here on the right. This is what it looks like when it starts to take off. This is why we call it dwarfing the previous cycle. The new cycle is so big that it dwarfs the old one. It looks like it's not even there anymore. So I do believe that's what's coming for T-Fuel and for Theta, is this kind of massive pump that comes after people get too fearful. You can see it in the institutional volume. We have plenty of volume for this to occur. We have plenty of excitement about crypto. We have presidents talking about crypto. We're really at that point where everything is set up for something big and something massive, yet the general public is still a little bit afraid, still a little bit skeptical to put their money in, and that's where the opportunity is just insane. So let's look at Bitcoin here, and I'll show you a little bit about what I mean with the cycles growing and dwarfing the previous cycles. All markets move based on cycles. In fact, everything in the entire known universe is cyclical in nature. And if you look right here, here's a really good example of what it looks like when something pumps, pulls back all the way, and you can even do this. This is really cool. You can even go like this. Look how many people would have seen this and went, oh, that is dead. Think of how many coins. If you know coins that look like this right now, there's hope for crypto. Think how many people would have thought that's dead. You know, but if you play forward here and look and see what happened, it's pretty amazing what happened to the market, right? We turned around right here and we saw a bull market after a 95% drawdown in price. Look what happens. It goes sideways. People are bored. Imagine how many people would have given up by now. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, look what happens to the market. Boom. Even right there, people would have been like, oh, it's not going to break out, you know, suckers rally. There's no way this thing is going to take off. You know, they would have been giving up, getting fearful. But if you just look and see what happens, the market does recover. And it does break out, and it does go to a new all-time high. And the old cycle gets dwarfed. Look at how much growth came. You can't even barely see the old cycle when the new one came. And it takes faith and, you know, a little bit of trust to buy something that's down 94% from its peak. But look what can happen if you do, you know? That's what can happen if you do. You can get in on this thing down here before that happens. And that's how you turn like $1,000 into $1 million. Is buying stuff that's 94% down when other people are like, there's no way this is going to happen. You know, so just keep that in mind, you guys, because it's true that when other people are fearful, it's time to be greedy, especially if you really believe in the industry that you're investing in and you do see potential in that industry and you see that it could take off. Then you get a little extra confidence of putting your money in, right? And I believe in crypto 100%. I believe crypto is like the internet. It's going to change the world. It's already started to. So it's a good industry to be excited about. Okay, cool. You guys understand cycles a little bit better now. Hopefully. Maybe you guys learned something. Let's see. They are not getting my T fuel locked in an elite edge node. Nice, Les. That's awesome. I've been talking with one of my one-on-one members about doing. He's actually really interested in setting up with a node. So that's really cool that you have one already. Let's see here. I've never seen you mention Veritasium. You know, that's actually interesting that you bring that up. I have not done analysis on Veritasium in so long. I don't even know if it's still a thing. Veritasium. Let's see. Veritas. Yeah, I don't see it here on TradingView, so I can't really do analysis for you on that one, Les. But I did get requested from somebody, and they wasn't able to tune into the live stream today because I think they live in another country somewhere. So I'm going to go ahead and do analysis for them real quick. They told me what coin they wanted. They're going to watch it later, and it looks like they want Quilibrium. Quilibrium. It's a hard word to say. Quilibrium. Let's see if we can find this one. Bear with me just a second, you guys. I gotta find this coin. Quilibrium. Okay. Quilibrium. Hello, World Wide Web. Let's pull this up and see what we can find here. Quilibrium. Here we go. Oh yeah, let's turn off replay mode. Exit replay mode. Quilibrium. Okay, here we go. Yeah, so this one, I bet this has bullish divergence. It does. We have a lower low in price, but a higher low on the MACD. Honestly, you guys, as you know, I'm bullish on the markets right now. I think Bitcoin is a great buy. I think Dogecoin is a great buy right now. A lot of coins are really good buys. And when I'm bullish on the rest of the market and I see bullish divergence on Quilibrium here, then I'm bullish on Quilibrium as well. You know, I don't know a lot about this coin, but 90% of the cryptos follow each other. So if we do get a strong turnaround here on Bitcoin soon, which I think we will, sooner rather than later, it could go a little lower in the short term. We don't know for sure, but we will get a turnaround sooner rather than later. And when we get that, the bullish divergence here on Quilibrium should play out and take us up to a new local high. I bet we break out above 0.06 cents and head up towards like 11 cents here on Quilibrium, which would be our next major resistance level right here. So honestly, this looks good. I love to see bullish divergence where price makes a slightly lower low, but the indicator makes a huge higher low like this. You can see this blue line is way up here where price made a slightly lower low, but the indicator made a higher low. That's a really, really good sign here for Quilibrium. And I'd expect us to head up towards local resistance here at about 11 cents per coin. Cool. Light Clothed, what's up, Rashim? Good to see you tuning in. You guys, Rashim has a pretty awesome YouTube channel and he makes music too. So shout out to Rashim. He's got some pretty sweet music out there. Hello, I appreciate your Litecoin video. What do you think about SGB? Songbird. Yeah, let's check out SGB. I have no idea what I think about it, but we can find out what I think about it if we look at the chart really quick. Songbird. Cool. We'll go on the daily time frame here for Songbird. What a cool name for a crypto. Songbird. That's awesome. All right. Yeah, so this looks like a huge double bottom. You know, we came all the way back down right here to major support. This is what markets look like when they bottom out. This is basically essentially what a market cycle looks like. You pump really hard, you pull back really hard, and then you double bottom and you go for a new cycle. That's essentially what a market cycle looks like. And if you don't have all of the previous historical data of the pump leading up to the crash, sometimes all you have is this point right here, where all you can see is the crash and the double bottom because there isn't enough historical data to show you the pump previously. Or maybe that coin came out at the top of a bull market, so it didn't have a pump leading to the crash. It just had the crash part. But it doesn't matter where the coin starts in its cycle. If you can identify where you're at in the cycle, you can play it correctly. And for me, Songbird, not Quilibrium, Songbird is right here in that double bottom point where we crashed really hard. You can see the huge crash right here. And now we're at that point where we're going to double bottom and turn around and start to head up towards a new cycle here for Songbird. I love this chart. I love seeing these double bottoms. Such a good buy when you can see that. So, bounce back stronger. Long time subscriber here, Dallin. I appreciate what you do. Well, I expected a crash. This most recent one has gone lower than I expected. Yeah, honestly, I expected a crash too, but when it came to actually selling, I got a little too excited. It didn't end up, I flipped bullish like right before, I was like bearish for Bitcoin to go to 80K, and then right before it crashed, I got a little excited and and held on. So what do? You know, it just happens sometimes. So yeah, we can check out VeChain. Let's do some VeChain analysis. And by the way, thank you for being a long-term subscriber and supporter of my channel. Hopefully we can all bounce back stronger, from this correction. Yeah, VeChain is another great example of a market cycle. Look how perfect this is. Here's our first sell-off pattern, or the disbelief phase. Here is euphoria, and here is depression. Then we come back up here, we hit resistance and come back down to support again. So this is that double bottom kind of structure that happens after a market cycle. Right? Double bottom. And then it turns around. So right here, I'd say that that's exactly where VeChain is. And all the cryptos follow each other. So if you're like, well, Dallin, you said Songbird was there too. Are you just going to tell me that all these coins are in the same spot? Yeah, I am. Because most of them are. Most of them are in that double bottom phase of their market cycle, where they're going to turn around and double bottom out of these big cycles and start to head up toward a new all-time high. And a really good example of one of these cycles is Bitcoin. Because Bitcoin did the exact same thing that VeChain did, only Bitcoin did this in 2015. And a lot of the altcoins look like early day Bitcoin for good reason, because, well, it's as simple as it can be. They basically are becoming household names, just like how Bitcoin basically is a household name now. I mean, not really, but it's becoming one, right? So a lot of these altcoins look like early day Bitcoin because they're on the same path of becoming more adopted by more people. They're just not quite there yet. So they look like early day Bitcoin. So here's early day Bitcoin here in 2015, and here is VeChain currently. That's called an ABC correction, a zigzag correction. Wave A, wave B, and wave C. That's an ABC zigzag correction. Wave A, wave B, and wave C. And basically you can see that VeChain is now in the disbelief phase of its new cycle. Just like how Bitcoin was right here when Bitcoin broke out to $500 and then pulled back to $250. It was in the disbelief phase of its cycle right here. And that's exactly where VeChain is at currently, the disbelief phase of this cycle, which is cool. It's a really good buy opportunity. This thing can make you rich just buying it down here at 2 cents and holding on. Because what came afterwards for Bitcoin is just completely insane. I mean, look at this. Look at the growth that happened on Bitcoin after. We're going to pull this chart down over here on VeChain, and then we'll pull Bitcoin down and kind of line these two charts up a little bit and give you an idea of what could happen for VeChain. Can you see why I'm so bullish on crypto right now, you guys? This is why you have to stay level-headed and focus on the big picture and ignore all of the fear, ignore all of the FUD out there, and just focus on what the charts are telling you, because they're telling you everything that you need to know. And they won't lie to you like the news will. And they won't lie to you or they won't make a dumb choice like somebody on the internet that's, for example, like some YouTuber or whatever that got too excited or too fearful and is telling all of his subscribers to sell into the dip. They're not going to make the charts won't make those mistakes. They'll just tell you the truth of the market as it is. They'll tell you, the charts will just tell you what the market is really going to do as it is, which is super cool. And I'm not saying don't follow good traders on YouTube. If you have somebody that you follow that's really good, like one of my one-on-one members has some people he follows, they're really good traders, So don't be afraid of studying people that know what they're talking about. But just be careful not to get caught up in the emotion of the cycle where people are getting irrational. And a lot of times that does happen on YouTube. Even people with hundreds of thousands of subscribers or even millions of subscribers will sometimes flip bearish at the exact bottom. I've seen it over and over and over and over again. And one thing I've done really good in my trading, I've called some of the tops, but one thing I've really excelled at in my trading is not flipping bearish when it really mattered most. That's one thing I've been very good at. In 2018, when Bitcoin hit 3K, it hit 20K and it came all the way back down and hit 3K in 2018 right here. I was trying to make as many videos about Bitcoin as I could. Started the Moon Boy podcast with my friend. We were trying to educate people and tell people not to sell their Bitcoin down there. Because a lot of people were selling their Bitcoin, and I didn't want to see people sell at 3K per coin. And sometimes that is really where a lot of people get it wrong, is when it's scary. When the market's scary and people are afraid of what's going to happen, that's where a lot of people get it wrong. That's where a lot of people flip bearish, even professionals. And if you understand the market cycle, and you understand crypto specifically, because crypto is even more like this than any other market in the world, although they're all very similar, then when the market comes back down 85%, or even the short-term corrections, you don't sell. You don't want to freak out and sell your coins. You want to buy down here. And in the case of Bitcoin, that's what Bitcoin did. Bitcoin broke out all the way up to a new all-time high to 20K, pulled all the way back down to 3K, and everybody flipped bearish. So many YouTube channels flipped bearish. They were calling for $500 per coin, or calling for $1,000 per coin. All these really, really low levels when Bitcoin was at 3K per coin. So that's why I'm saying you have to stay level-headed in the corrections, because fact of the matter is when other people are fearful, it's time to be buying, right? It's the best time to be accumulating as much as you can during those times. Cool. So we've got some Telcoin requests and some Bitcoin Cash requests. So we'll do some Telcoin and some Bitcoin Cash for you guys. So Telcoin is doing a support and resistance flip right here. You can see we broke out on Telcoin, up for a new local high. This is one of the coins I had been talking about quite a bit here early on, down here, and especially down here on Telcoin. Letting you guys know I was pretty sure this was going to break out for a big bull market. We went all the way up here to about a penny here, and now we're back down on major support. So if you can buy support like this, if you can buy a support and resistance flip like this, it's a really good opportunity to make money. Buying those support and resistance flips is one of the best ways to make money in the market. And that's exactly what Telcoin did, as a support and resistance test. Because to be honest with you guys, support and resistance is called support. Excuse me. Support and resistance is called support/resistance. A lot of times people will draw it like that, S/R. And the reason they draw it like that is because it's both support and resistance. It just depends on whether you're coming down to support or up through resistance. So this is a support and resistance level on Telcoin. And for me, this is a great opportunity to pick up as much Telcoin as you can on major support before it turns around and takes off, before it goes higher. Let's compare it to Ethereum here. So one of the reasons that we knew Telcoin was going to break out down here was because it looked a lot like Ethereum back in the day, before Ethereum broke out, because of the same human psychology. So let's pull up Ethereum here on the right, and we'll keep Telcoin over there on the left. And I made a video about Telcoin down here, letting you guys know, hey, Telcoin looks a lot like Ethereum right here. And it already started to break out right here. And now it pulled back a little bit. This pullback reminds me a lot of this pullback right here. The pullback we just had on Telcoin reminds me a lot of this pullback right here. So I personally think this thing is going to go completely nuts. I really do. Up to a new all-time high and, yeah, blow people away. Just go completely nuts. Okay, let's talk about BCH here. And I do get a lot of hate from people, or at least sometimes from people, because I talk about being bullish on Bitcoin Cash and being bullish on Bitcoin. And they're like, hey, you can't do that. Or they'll be like, hey, why are you bullish on Bitcoin Cash and XRP? Because a lot of times people marry their coins and they're part of these communities. And so they're like, okay, if you even like a different coin, then I don't like you anymore. You get that from people like a lot, honestly. So yes, I am bullish on Bitcoin Cash, you guys. And I know I just made all the Bitcoiners and all the XRP people and all the Litecoiners. I know I made all of you guys mad by saying that, but I don't really care. I trade charts. I'm going to tell you what I honestly see. And you guys, this thing I think is going to turn around. This is accumulated by big institutions. I don't care that it made a slightly lower low here. Ethereum did the same thing. Are you guys all of a sudden bearish on Ethereum too in the big picture? No, you're not. So stop flipping bearish on Bitcoin Cash. This thing can easily turn around and take off. It can easily, I mean, there's bullish divergence here. Let's go ahead and look. There's bullish divergence on the histogram. So we have a lower low here. And you can see on the histogram, instead of the two lines this time, we're looking at this red histogram. And you can see a higher low. So that's histogram bullish divergence with Bitcoin Cash here. Now, if we zoom in a little bit, probably to the daily, I bet there's potentially bullish divergence on the daily. Let's see here. Nope, we don't see it on the daily. Let's see if it's on the 3-day. No, it's not on the 3-day. 4-day. Nope, we don't have any bullish divergence on the 4-day, the 1-day, or the 3-day here, at least on those time frames. But we do have bullish histogram divergence, which is also a strong buy signal. So you can take away the MACD like that, or the lines, and you can see that we do have bullish histogram divergence, especially like on the 10-day. We have massive bullish histogram divergence right here. So I do think Bitcoin Cash will turn around down here. You know, this is a standard ABC correction here, not an expanded flat, but a standard ABC correction back down onto a major support level. I don't know how many times I have to tell this, or say this, tell this to you guys and say this to help you guys remember. But the worst thing you can do is panic sell. And the worst thing you can do is sell onto major support. And right now we're on major support for Bitcoin Cash. The worst thing you could do is sell right here. I don't know what else to say. It's just the worst thing you could do to sell onto major support. Because, well, really the reason why is because that's where all the big players are buying. That's where all the market makers, that's where all the institutions, all the trading desks, all of the big people, the big whales, the market makers as we call them, they buy onto major support. And the beginners sell, usually because they're reading news or watching the wrong people or listening to their emotions, and they sell onto major support because of those reasons. But if you're looking at the chart's going to tell you everything that you need to know. And the chart is telling you guys, we're on major support and don't sell major support, right? 46 people watching, only 20 likes. Like the video, guys. Hey, thank you, Matt. I appreciate you saying that. And actually, for only 46 people watching and only 20 likes, that's actually pretty good. Most of the time during my live streams, I don't get a lot of viewers, but they will get sometimes up to 1,000 views later, my live streams will. So a lot of people don't tune in live, and normally I stream on Saturday, so we probably would have had more people tune in if this would have been a Saturday where everybody's expecting it. But yeah, I appreciate you guys that are liking this stream and sharing it with your friends. I appreciate the support. It means a lot to me. So, DAG is one of the only cryptos. Yeah, let's look at constellations, my friend. I love DAG. It's a good coin. Very good coin here. And this is a prime example of what I was talking about with those market cycles and the human psychology of markets. Where do you think this is in the market cycle? This is the disbelief phase of the cycle. Here's the disbelief phase along the way up. Here is euphoria right here. Here is depression. This would have been anger, right? This would have been capitulation. This would have been the bull trap that always happens in every cycle. And this is disbelief right here. People are in disbelief that another cycle is going to start. And this one to me looks a lot like early day Bitcoin, early day, or even Ethereum here. Look at Ethereum, right? Here's Ethereum on the right. Here is Constellation on the left. You know, when Ethereum was down here at $80, again, I made a video about Ethereum telling you guys I personally thought Ethereum was going to skyrocket. How did I come to that conclusion? Because of the market cycles, how I came to that conclusion in March of 2020, when people were scared because of COVID, when people were freaking out because they thought that a pandemic was going to send crypto to zero. I personally just looked at the charts. I pulled up the Fibonacci tool and I said, hey, here's a complete market cycle that went all the way down to the 88% Fibonacci level. That's a really good time to buy. That's a really good place to pick up some coins. And look what Ethereum did. It went all the way to a new all-time high. And if you look at constellations right now, or DAG, look at this thing. Right down to the same area. Same Fibonacci zone, the 88%. Same everything about this chart. So this is the time where the opportunity is the highest to invest in crypto. It's the maximum point of financial opportunity with the minimum point of risk. And let's pull up the BLX chart here on the right, and we'll look at early day Bitcoin as well, because it's a lot like early day Bitcoin. And we'll go to the daily candlesticks so we can really see here. Here you go. Here is early day Bitcoin, okay? And here is Constellation on the left. Markets are fractal in nature. Human psychology never changes, and those fractals repeat over and over and over again. That's how these markets work. And to me, buying Constellation right now is a lot like buying Bitcoin in terms of where they're at in their cycles. It's a lot like buying Bitcoin down here at $3 way early on in the Bitcoin cycle. Very similar. Very similar. And you guys, it's not just markets that are fractal in nature. Everything in the known universe is fractal in nature. It's a principle of fractal weather pattern Fibonacci images. Let's see here. No, we'll go like this. Galaxy Fibonacci. Okay, look, a galaxy spirals in Fibonacci. That's how a galaxy spirals. It's a Fibonacci sequence. So if you're looking at a galaxy, you have a Fibonacci spiral. Okay? Now if you go look at a like a seashell, for example, or weather pattern, you're going to see a Fibonacci spiral on a weather pattern. Now let's look at a seashell. Seashell is a Fibonacci spiral. Or, by the way, an embryo. Look at this, embryo. Embryo. Is that how you spell embryo? Embryo. An ear is a Fibonacci spiral. If you look at an embryo, this is just a fib spiral, but if you look at a little baby in an ultrasound, when that little baby's head is curled forward and then it connects to the feeding tube, it's a Fibonacci spiral. So mathematics is the language in which God has written the universe. That's what Galileo said. And so it's no surprise that the same fractals appear across the known universe, and they also appear in markets, in charts, in the form of the emotion of the human psychology. And to me, that's just extremely profound and beautiful to know that. And not only is it profound and beautiful, but it's also financially beneficial, which is cool, you know? So, really cool. Nope, can't marry coins. XRP bros got destroyed that way back in 2018. Take your profits. Amen. Don't marry coins. Don't marry projects. Marry profits. If you're going to marry anything, marry sound trading tactics and profits. Because, to be honest with you, most everything crashes at some point. It doesn't matter if it's the biggest company in the world, something eventually is going to replace it. So you have to look at these markets in terms of making the right choice and not what your favorite coin is. It's okay to have favorites as long as you have an ability to take profit and you don't get so into the fundamentals of the project that you think it's going to go up forever. Because the cycle plays a way bigger role in when it's time to take profits and when it's time to buy in than any other factor in the markets. Lintech, thumbs up. Yeah, thumbs up for you too, Lintech. Or Lentech. What are your thoughts on Duko? And I did see somebody ask me about Wrapped Dog. Still the same ABC correction. Nothing has changed in the big picture for Wrapped Dog. Still nearing the bottom of its correction. Nobody knows when or where it's going to correct, but I'm still bullish on Wrapped Dog for the people that are wondering. You just have to keep accumulating. You're never going to nail well, you might nail the bottom a few times, but most of the time you'll buy something and it will go lower than you think. And then you'll buy more and it might go even lower, and then you'll buy more, and then all of a sudden it's the bottom when nobody thinks it is and when everybody gives up on it. And if you want to talk about Wrapped Dog, Rashim, my friend, that's my views on Wrapped Dog. Now Duko here, I love this chart already, and don't think, unless you've had me do analysis on this before, which I don't remember, but I love this chart already. I have no idea what this is, but I'm interested based on this chart. This is a huge falling wedge pattern right here. You can see this wedge structure. We broke bullish out of that wedge and we came back down to support. And look how much volume there is. Holy cow. 4.7 billion tokens were traded right here. Wow. Now, it is measuring in terms of tokens, not dollars. So it shows 4.7 billion Duko tokens got traded at that level. I don't know what that is in terms of US dollars, but that's substantial volume in relation to itself, which is really when you're doing volume analysis, one of the most important factors is volume in relation to itself or volume in relation to crypto as a whole. Is it in the top 30 in trading volume, or is it just nobody cares about it? Or is there a massive spike in volume in relation to its own trading volume? That's usually a pretty good sign. And in relation to its own trading volume here, that's a massive spike in trading volume. I mean, it's the biggest spike it's ever seen, right at the point of a breakout of a falling wedge. This looks bullish. I would not at all be surprised to see this thing just go like this, to be honest with you. It could even go all the way up to wave B right here, because this is an ABC correction as well. You can see wave A, wave B, and wave C. So it could go all the way up to wave B right here. That looks really good. I don't think I've done analysis on this before, but this looks really good. Cool. Awesome. We're an hour in, so that's usually about how long I live stream. And I appreciate you guys taking your time to tune into today's live stream. If I had one message for you, just stay grounded. Don't let your emotions get to you. Don't let everybody's fear, FUD, all the news articles. Don't let any of that stuff get to you. Just focus on the charts. Focus on accumulating people's fear. And then you'll be okay. That would be pretty much my message for the day. So, cool. Yeah, thank you guys. I appreciate you. Looks like... Oh, AJ, what's up, my friend? I already know you're going to ask me to play guitar, because you do every single time. So, I'll play one song for you guys on the guitar, as usual. And then we'll call it a day. Let me drink a little water first here. Okay. Okay, we're going to play Here Comes the Moon again, even though I'm totally going to lose all monetization and advertising. But I don't care. Because, to be honest with you guys, last time I played Here Comes the Moon, the markets didn't moon yet, so I need to play it again so that you guys know for sure that the moon is coming. And I know you've heard the song Here Comes the Sun. This is my parody edition of that song that I personally wrote about crypto called Here Comes the Moon. Because if you guys are new to crypto, which most of you guys aren't, but for the people that are, if something's mooning, that's a really, really good sign. So if you hear "Here comes the moon," you know, or this coin is gonna moon, that's kind of the terminology we use in crypto for when something is gonna moon. So. And I still need to learn that song, by the way. What song is it? I won't worry about it right now. Forrest Frank. You had a Forrest Frank song that you wanted me to learn? Dude, Forrest Frank is one of my favorite artists, so it's so cool that you also know that song. That's so awesome, AJ. It's one of my favorite songs. So here we go. Here Comes the Moon. Here comes the moon, do-do-do-do. Here comes the moon, and I say, it's alright. Little darling, it's been a long, cold crypto winter. Little darling, it feels like years since a bull market was here. Here comes the moon, do-do-do-do. Here comes the moon, and I say, it's alright. Little darling, the gains are returning to our portfolios. Little darling, it seems like years since I made 100x. Here comes the moon, here comes the moon, and I say, it's alright. Here comes the moon, you guys. Do you remember last year during the summer correction when everybody was bearish at 50K and I sang this song to you guys, and then Bitcoin went to 100K and Dogecoin went to 40 cents? I personally believe it's going to happen all over again. Take it for what it's worth, but that's what I really believe is going to happen. So I love that song so much. So fun to sing it. Oh my goodness. All right, guys. Thank you for tuning in. I love you. I appreciate you. I need to make more bullish music. That is true, AJ. I should write more songs. Even if they're parodies of other famous songs, it's fun to do. So, all right, you guys. I'll see you next week. I love you. I appreciate you. Stay profitable out there. And yeah, good to see you guys. Stay profitable.